Welcome everyone to another edition of our self-care awareness. Go with the flow with Swalo and Miss Lisa, and hopefully Jay and Bear, one of them will or both of them will join us a little bit later. Today I would like to talk about the children. That's what I want to talk about. I would really love to talk about the children and the things that we put on the children. And I guess this all stemmed from when I was on Facebook yesterday. The young lady, 6, 7 years old, she's a freestyle rapper, and she's been doing this since she was apparently in the womb. But her parents are allowing her to tap into her gift and her talent. And I was looking at this and I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful thing. And Miss Lisa, with you being in education, you see the behaviors, the mishaps, the downfalls, everything firsthand when the kids, as one of my peers would say, as Trellis would say, what how does she say it? More is caught versus taught. Even though we teach them, they still mimic everything that we do. They still mimic what they see. So we can tell them every day, all day long, don't. But if they see us doing it, they're going to turn around. They're going to do the same exact thing, even though they might not do it in front of our face, but at some point they're gonna mimic what they see. So we're trying to bring awareness to the world because a lot of people are in denial that their actions is what the kids are mimicking, and they want to blame it all on the television. Some of it may be the television, some of it may be the phone, technology, but it's also the parents. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to you, and thank you for being here again.
Yes. That's so real because I mean the kids they mimic what we do, not just what we do as educators, but they mimic what they see on TV. They mimic what they see on social media, and I think that's the biggest part. Oh, sorry about that. I think that's the biggest part of what we deal with is social media. Uh, Parents are allowing their kids at an early age to just really look at social media, and they're not watching what they look at. They are so busy in their own world that they just give a kid, hey, take this iPhone, iPad, or whatever, and play with it. They give them that to play with just to distract them from, from bothering them. And so when they get that, they make accounts. They get on there and they make them an account and tell you they such and such age and just be lying and stuff, and then once they get on there they see all the stuff that social media put on, because that's my point. I think that everybody that has an account, whether what kind whatever type of social media, need to have a private account. That way they can pull in who they want to pull in, because everybody don't need to see everything. And see, when we in school, these kids come to school and they are so distracted. There's no teaching. I mean, we can teach at school all day long, but when they go home, if they're not learning anything at home, they're not getting anything. And as I said earlier, everything starts with home. You got to, the same way the Bible says, you got to train up a child the way that he or she should go. And when they get older, they won't depart. If they do, they'll come back. But we're not training our kids. Our kids are teaching us. We too busy in the streets or doing what we do, drinking and partying and letting grandma and grandpa raise kids, because it's more grandparents raising kids than it is mothers raising their own kids. And so when you got that, there's a big gap. Grandma don't know that stuff that that these kids are doing now. Grandpa or uncles and aunts, and they're just letting kids do anything. And I've seen them from oh wow, from 3 to 4 years old all the way up to 6, 7, 8, 10. Even the ones I deal with, my own, I've seen them, how they act. They are outrageous, out of control. You can't tell me nothing, and because they have put this old law in, you can't touch them, you can't whoop them, you can't spank them. It's like, hey, you touch me, I'm calling those people on you. So you have no control of your own kids unless you just get those parents that I had when I was growing up. You tell the police to come raise you. If I can't raise you, I send you to the police and let them raise you. And my parents didn't play like that. They would tell you, if I can't raise my kid, then let the police raise him.
But
And
see,
so that's where we're messing up at.
but that's where it's messed up at, because the law does not say we cannot discipline our children. It does not say we cannot discipline our children. It says we cannot beat our children.
So that too.
We cannot abuse them. We cannot beat them.
But
Um,
in school, you can't even touch them. So yeah, it's
well, yeah,
different.
that's true. That's true, because
And
back
so,
in the
and they
day,
know that. And that's the
back
part.
in,
They so smart at 2 and 3 years old. They know that. You can't
yeah,
touch me. They know
back in
that.
the day, you would do something in school, you go to the principal's
Mm.
office, you get that paddling. But now, you're right. You cannot even get the paddling in school,
Mm-hmm.
but you still can discipline your children. I've heard in Texas from a lot of parents, I'm not gonna whoop my kids. I just don't want to whoop my kids because I know how I feel. I don't believe whoopings will work. I don't believe
Mm-hmm.
whoopings will honestly, fix the problem. A lot of
Right,
parents,
right.
they don't whoop the child because they really don't feel that that's the answer or that's the solution.
Mm-hmm. But the Bible said you spoil a child, you spare the rod, you spoil the child. And we know the Bible is not a lie. So if you spare that rod, then you spoiling that child, and that child is gonna be able to do what he or she wants to do because you have no control no more. And then when they get to a certain age, you touch them if you want. You're gonna have to fight your own kid. And I've
You are
seen that so
absolutely
many times.
correct.
I see a whole bunch of parents fighting their teenager daughters, their teenage sons, and stuff like that. And then you put them out, and they're in the streets. And once you put them out, that's it. They're in the streets. Welcome to the real world. And that's when they get caught up into everything out there. And then next thing you know, you lost them. So it is so hard because of this. They took prayer out of school because of you can't spank a kid in school. You can't, man. I'm telling you, in the days when I was in school, we act up, we going straight to the principal's office, and they gonna put it on us, and dare us to
Exactly.
do anything different. And once they put it on us, we don't want to do nothing else, cause it
Yeah.
hurt. And that's a lot of these parents. Oh, I don't want to hurt my baby. I don't want to hurt my. Well, your baby needs something, and a lot of these kids are having some. I don't get it. I don't. You can't make me get this. Half of these kids coming out of the wombs now are special needs kids. I've seen more special needs kids than I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know if it's in the breast milk. I don't know if it's in the food, what the parents drinking and smoking, whatever. But it is so many kids coming out with disabilities and special needs and it's sad to see, but it's reality, and it's hard to teach those type of kids. It's hard to teach those type of kids when you bring them to school and want the teachers to teach them, and then when they go home, you teach them a different way, and it's hard to be on track, and it's hard for them to be on track, and it's everything becomes off, and then when you try to tell a parent about a kid, they want to fight you because my kid ain't this, my kid didn't do this. Oh yes, they
Mhm.
did, and you know they did it because they do it at home and they do it to
Yeah.
you. I mean, it's so many parents I've seen are so afraid of their own kids. And so
And that's sad.
we gotta get a grip on it quick, or we're gonna lose a generation of children to the world.
Exactly. But just like how you were just talking about, but that said, I keep hearing that. Well, I can't tell my kids anything. I cannot tell my kids anything. And I'm glad that Jay did decide to come on in and join us, because like I said, even with everything that he's been through, he's still very, very active and very present in his children's life, whether it's just being on the phone, on a video call, or whatever, because that is very, very important as parents, because a lot of parents, they don't feel and they don't think that their actions of being absent affects the
Uh-huh.
kids.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
oh, well, you know what? I'd rather not, be there than be in and out. But you have to show them something. You
Uh-huh.
have to show them some type of love. And again, with you being in education, you can tell when the kids are lacking love, and when they
Oh
when
yeah.
they
Oh yeah.
act out, and when it's hurt.
Uh-huh.
And again, like I said, I want everyone to understand how very, very important it is for these parents to allow, because again, we do have some of these baby mamas that it was all cool and fine and dandy when they saw the life of the baby daddy. Oh, he's driving this car with his whip, he's doing this, he's doing that. Well, because he's in and out of prison, now he's a deadbeat. Well, now I don't want you around my child because of whatever reason.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you cannot stop that. You should not
Yeah.
stop that because it was okay in the beginning when you saw the materialistic things. But now what are you doing to this child now that the reality of your baby daddy, baby mama, whoever it may be, is right here in front of you and in front of your children, and you see that the lifestyle that now your children maybe be able to mimic, might mimic, or is mimicking at this moment. Any encouraging words for these people that want to try to say, I don't want my child around this, because now you're actually causing more damage, because now here's the anger. I can't see my other parent versus I can see my parent and I can maybe either be like them or choose not to be like them.
Yeah, I mean that's that. I think that that little situation right there will always be because, especially if that other mate has someone else in their life, his or her life, it's going to cause that division because you have split up. Now they're with somebody else, and you don't want nobody else trying to tell your kid what to do because they're in a household not up under yours or whatever, or however it go. Or if they're even if they don't have anybody, it's hard because after separation, whether it's divorce, separation, or people living together and they split up or whatever, however the baby mama drama stuff goes, whatever happens is like if you skip a beat somewhere. This is mainly for men. If you skip a beat somewhere, you're in trouble because that woman's going to hold it against you. Sometimes the women, if you skip a beat, that man's going to hold it against you because they're going to feel like you got time to do other things but take care of your own kid. Well, that happens, but the thing of it is, like I said, encouraging part of this is no matter what goes on in you and your that person's life, you got to make a mutual agreement that y'all both will stay into that child's life so that he or she can grow. Because when there's separation, when there's one parent, whether it's a male or whether it's the female, when it's one parent, it is so hard. It's hard enough women raising kids by themselves. It's hard enough men raising kids by themselves, especially girls, because it is so much required with girls than it is with boys. But whichever way it goes, it's very hard for a man to raise a girl. It's very hard. And it's very hard for a woman to raise a boy because a lot of times when women raise boys, they pity and baby and they become, they come out some other kind of way doing other things and all that kind of stuff. But my thing is the only way it works, and that's in anything in life. It has to be a relationship with God. I don't care if it's physical, emotional, spiritual. It has to be a relationship. Nothing happens without a relationship with God, and that means in every aspect of your life, you got to have a relationship with God. If you don't have a relationship with God, that's why a lot of our kids are the way they are because our parents don't have relationships with God. Our parents are too busy doing what our kids are doing. Parents are partying with kids. Parents are going out partying with their own kids. Parents are drinking and smoking with their own kids. Parents are letting kids see them do these things. So if you don't have a relationship with the man upstairs, then all your other relationships are not work. They don't prosper nothing. You got to have a relationship with God in order for anything in your life to come out the way it needs to come out, to be purposeful and filled. And that's what's wrong with a lot of our parents. And the reason why our kids are going astray and doing what they want to do, bringing guns into the schools. How do all that happen? How do you let this happen if you're not paying attention to what's going on in your own house? Why? Because you're too busy doing what you're doing. We don't even have parents to sit down and talk to our kids about or try to learn our kids their ABCs and all these kind of things. The school's supposed to do it. The teach That's what the teachers get paid for. That's what they say. Well, that's what we're
So
paying y'all for. But what happens when they leave me?
so they're
What
they're
happens when they
saying
leave the other teachers? What are you doing? They take them home, give them a bath, and put them to bed and go to sleep. Get up the next
right,
day.
but they're,
Let the teacher
they're
do
they're
it.
saying that statistically parents spend 30 minutes, what is it, a week total with their
Yeah,
kids. But
exactly.
teachers, the educators spend more time with the kids
Yeah,
than the parents.
especially on a Friday night. So as kids, I've seen parents they don't even want to come get their kids hardly. They be sitting there till the last bus come. Then they try to pick up their kids till the last car come through. All that kind of stuff because they don't really want to get their own kids on the weekend. These kids are so just intolerable that parents are. It's like, ooh, here the Friday night. I got to deal with my own kids. And then when you deal with them, you're only dealing with them actually from Saturday all day and Sunday morning, and then they go back to school. Cause Friday night you ain't gonna do nothing but take them home, get them pizza, feed them, put them to bed. Then they get up Saturday and they play all day. Y'all do whatever y'all do on Saturdays. That whole one day. Sunday go to church. If you go to church, don't most of them don't play around or whatever. Sunday night they in the bed early because they got to go back to school and the teachers got them all that week until Friday again. So you're really not getting your kids in. And then when Friday comes, you're not spending that time with trying to teach these kids their ABCs or how to read. There are so many kids who are so behind on reading that it's a shame. I mean, everybody, and then they blamed it on COVID for a while. Now, kind of got them all back up, but now they're all back to where you got fourth graders can't even read a C Pug run. Books like that. I was like, it's very embarrassing.
Because
But you
they
expect the
feel
teacher to do it all.
they feel like, well, this is all I'm supposed to do. This is all that I have to do
Hmm.
because of my environment. A lot of kids feel that their environment is all that they have, and that's as far as they can go. And like I said, I'm so grateful that Jay is here because
Yes. Welcome on in, Jay.
I listen to Jay. Like I said, Jay's the he's our DJ on Saturdays, on Clubhouse, and he'll tell me in a heartbeat, Swalo, if my kids call, I'm still here, I'm listening, but I'm tending to my kids. There's a lot of people that make excuses on why they cannot be a part of their children's life. Oh, well, you know what? Well, my baby mama's mad at me right now, so since she's mad at me, I'm not gonna even deal with my kids. I'll let her get over what she's getting, what she's going through, and then I'll just talk to my kids later.
Yep.
Well, that's not showing your kids that you love them. What you're doing
Right.
is you're showing that woman that you really love her, and it's not about those kids. So again, like I said, with Jay being here, thank you for being here, Jay.
Yes.
Um, Jay has kids, and Jay has also lost a child, so he knows both sides of a lot of things, but he's always pouring into his kids the positivity that they need, the same way that he does everybody else, telling them to keep going, don't stop.
Hmm.
So Jay, I wanna welcome you, and like I said, we're talking about the kids, trying to teach them, and it's not even more of a teaching because what we teach them is like in one ear and out the other. It's what they see, and the first thing we want to say is, I don't know where they get it from. But when we look in the mirror, we actually see where they get it from. We see the neighborhoods that they live in, that they have to walk down the streets and, survive on a daily. So I want to get your input on some of that, and how you pour into your children, the positive words, the love, the encouragement that they need to survive in this 2025 cruel world.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Good to see
Good,
y'all.
good,
Good
good. Good to see you, Jay.
God bless y'all. The, the kids, they are important, but my mom, she did a lot of teacher work with us. We had to write out dictionary words, stuff like that. She was into a rematch, title company, real estate. So with the punishment, we will read the type of books. Not only read them, but we had to write a paragraph about what we read.
Yeah.
Some type of skills. I did the same thing with my children.
Mm.
a video call them, but it's not about the video call because we actually work. We might have a pain day, take out the pain, about stuff like that. I need you to read me a couple of sentences on the phone, spell your name, and we do this type of stuff every day. That's a guarantee it doesn't matter. Even if I forget, but I don't, but even if I forget, like, say ABCs, Dad say that, look, hey Dad, say ABCs. And then I said, now it's your turn. Spell your name. Stuff like that. See, them type of things, it don't matter. They're gonna always ask you to spell your name. That's guaranteed. Don't let nobody take that from me. So I'm gonna always have them doing that. The last thing I would say, I had the option to buy my daughter a Barbie doll, or I could have bought her an iPad so she could call me. My big thing was to buy her the iPad so I could help her get her education. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, I wanted to buy the Barbie doll, but your education is more important to me than anything. So, yeah, dealing with the children education is very important.
That's right.
Okay, but this is the thing that I want to say about Jay. Jay told us some of his story, and I know a lot about a lot of, well, I don't know all about Jay, but I do know a lot about Jay. And the one thing that I do know about Jay is that when he said that he would rather have bought the iPad versus the Barbie doll. Do you know honestly, and Jay, I don't know if you know this. Do you know there's so many well able bodied fathers that wouldn't even want to buy the Barbie doll? You were saying, you know what? I get what you want, but I'm going to get you the most expensive because I want you to do more in your life. This is what I'm talking about. This is what your kids see. You want more for them. It's not what the average daddy, sperm donor, whatever you want to call. I can't even call him a daddy because the first thing they would have been like, oh, well, you know what? You don't live with me. You live with your mama. You know, I'm paying child support. So this is what I'm saying. There's so many people that are hurting these kids unknowingly by doing things like that. And you were just saying, okay, I want to further your education. I want you to become a better woman. I want my daughter to prosper into something. And it starts with you. That's what you're saying. It starts with you. You have to make sure that you instill it in them what they are capable of doing. And it's not just sitting there playing with a Barbie doll. Yeah, but that's what kids do. But you're saying, okay, but I want you to understand whose you are. So I want to ask Miss Lisa, and we're gonna have to get out of here shortly because of your the time of your lunch. So
Right.
with that being said, if there were more men, and I'm not gonna just say women, but if there were more men that did the things like Jay does, how would that make your job? Would it make it a little bit easier?
If
Would it
there
make
were a whole bunch of men that would step up to the plate, I think it'd be a better world because we're lacking in our men. Our men are not teaching leadership, and if they're not being leaders, they can't teach their kids to be leaders because the man is the head of the house. The man is the head of the house. Whether he's with you or whether he's not with you, he's still the head of that family. And so if you're the head of that family, then you got to lead that family. See, that's the problem we having. We're having problems with leaders. And our men are lacking. So it's taking most time it's taking women to be the man and the woman in your life. And then you wonder why some of these women are the way they are is because I'm so strict or I'm so this way because I had to be because there wasn't a man there. There wasn't a man to teach this boy how to be a boy. There wasn't, a man there to show this man how to learn how to work because our children are lazy now. Our young men are lazy now. Women are working while they're staying at home being the cooks. They're cooking while women are working. They're doing everything. It's like now it's like Mr. Mom, Mrs. Mom. The men are the women now. And so we're lacking on that because we don't have leaders. Men like Jay was saying, you got to lead. You got to lead. And that's what it's called. The man is the head of the house. Christ is the head of the man is the head of a family. So if men don't step up, we're gonna have a race of people that are just locked up and lost. And not just black people, but that's men in general everywhere. White, black,
Mhm.
any color. Men gonna have to step up. You want to have babies, you want to be the sperm donors or whatever, then step up to the plate because we got grandmas raising kids. Grandmas are raising somebody else's kids. They don't raise their kids. Now they're raising their daughters or their sons' kids. We got to have these men to step up. And you can't we can't all keep saying the system won't let me work. I've been locked up. There are jobs out there for people who have been in the system. So don't use that as an excuse that you can't find a job because I got a record. I think we all got a record. Jesus Christ came, he cleared our record. So act like your record is really cleared for real. Pray about it. Ask God he will give you a job. You just gotta want it. And that's the whole thing about this. If we gotta have some men that are gonna step up and be leaders. There's no more Martin Luther Kings. There's no more Jesse Jacksons. There's no more Farrakhan's. There's no more of these people. It's time for our black men, for us, our black men to step up. It's time for the white man to step up. It's time for the Mexican man to step up. We can't keep asking people to give us stuff. We can't keep standing out here with our hands open, standing on the streets looking pitiful every day. And then half of the people that's doing that, they got a piece of a job, but they don't want nobody to know it. They park the car down the street just to come out and get another dollar from somebody else because they don't want to work. So we gotta stop that. We gotta pull our men together all over, men everywhere, all over the world. We gotta pull men together and we gotta stand behind them as well. We can't criticize them, we can't talk about them, we can't pull them down. We gotta hold them up. And if a woman has a man, you gotta stand behind him. Just because he don't have a job, you can't say, "Oh, that sorry joker this. Oh, he won't do this. Oh, my kids didn't have Christmas last year. That was last year. This is a new year." Stand behind that man. Keep building him up, and you keep building him up. He's gonna build himself up, and then you keep praying for him. Keep praying for him. Keep praying for him, and watch God open some doors. I'm telling you, everything in our life, whether it's spiritual, physical, emotional, psychological, whatever, it all starts with a relationship with God. You have to have it. You cannot go without a relationship with God. You won't go far. And that's a promise.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. And thank you for that. Thank you for that very, very much. Wow, you gotta have that relationship.
Yeah.
Jay, before we get ready to get out of here, this is what I would love from you. Because I hear how you always, you talk about your kids. And like I said, I do know a lot about your story. For the men, for the men that make excuses on why they shouldn't take care of their children, maybe because it may be for the child support that they already pay, or because, well, my baby mama, she won't talk to me. She hadn't talked to me in 2 to 3 weeks, and why should I do this for them kids? Would you explain to them? And like I'm saying, and you told us about your story. And you people, you are disabled. You are in a wheelchair. You use a manual wheelchair, or a powered wheelchair. People, they look at you as like, you know what? How is this man being a father to his kids, and he's living like this? So could you tell these well able-bodied men on how it's so easy for you to do it?
The first thing I'll say, uh, I had to write my daughter and mom messages But it was to my daughter for 2 years straight, 2 years straight. Every day, told her something positive. I didn't say nothing to the mom, but I did the first time. I just told her to relate the message. But I did that for 2 years straight. And then I was able to touch her herself. But remember, before we had kids, we all said that we wanted to make our kids life better than ours, regardless. Keep that promise. Keep that promise. Do what you have to do to make that promise come alive. It doesn't matter. Yeah, my situation was good, but I was not going to let that be against me. And yes, you would think because Dr. Abbott to me that the situation may change. Nah, thinking, nah, it's still the same. But that don't stop my love, and that don't stop me. So I will continue to make that promise come alive. That my kid's life will be better than mine, regardless. Do what you have to do. Remain strong. Keep going, don't stop.
Wow, keep going, don't stop. And I
That's
thank you
it.
for that. You know, sometimes God actually will change our life to make sure that we will keep our promise. So, and I'm speaking from my own experience. I kept saying, God, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And every time he would, you know, heal me from something, I'm back out there doing the same. But here I am because he set me down again. And he said, you remember your promise. So Jay, I want to thank you for that. Stick to your promise. And thank you for reminding me and everybody else to stick to your promise because you made a promise to those babies. And like you said, regardless of whatever your situation may be, as long as you are still able, you will. And I'm gonna say this, a lot of people they always say, as long as I'm able to walk, but you know what? Right now, Jay is not really able to walk like he used to, but he's getting there. I remember when he said he stood up and he took his steps. Was it last year, about a year and a half ago? That was such a blessing. I hear a lot of people say, as long as I have the air in my lungs, Jay only has one, and he's still here telling his story to give God the glory, saying, I'm not giving up on my kids. So, regardless of what your situation may be, as long as you are still here, God has a purpose for you. Jay, thank you for telling your story. Thank you for being here because I keep telling you every Saturday, I'm so honored to have someone like you in my life because you never gave up and you still push all of us, including me, especially me, to keep going and fighting for my purpose and my goal. So thank you. Love you to life. Miss Lisa, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for not giving up. And your book, I want to go ahead and tell people where to get your book. Jay, I want you to tell people where to get your music, and we're going to get out of here. Miss Lisa.
Okay, again, you can go on Amazon. Go type it in From Dope to Doctor by Dr. Lisa Dunn, My Life's Journey. You can read about it. I'm telling you, when you start it, you won't put it down. So Amazon has it From Dope to Doctor. Make sure you go and get it. And when you get it, make sure after you read it, go back and put some reviews in there and let the world know that this was a good book and it's worth reading. Amen. Because it's not for me, it's for somebody else. Okay? God bless you.
All right. And Jay, you want to tell everybody where to get your music from and everything?
No, man, I forgot anything already. I don't even worry about it. But you go on YouTube, basically, you go on any music platform, type in Mendable, it's on live platforms. And I'm at the website. Every music platform is on there. Type in Mendable, and you will see it. But yeah, God bless y'all.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Go to Amazon From Dope to Doctor with Dr. Lisa Dunn and go to any platform, YouTube, Mendable. You will get Jay Hine. You will see his story. His story is amazing. And I'm just glad to have met both of y'all. Man, like I said, without God, none of this would be possible.
That's right.
So again, until we meet again on tomorrow, y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and y'all just keep being a blessing to everybody.
Amen. Amen to that. God bless you.
All right.
All right.